Hi, it's Neil Sean here on your entertainment news with one of my all-time favourite singers. He is, of course, the legendary Mr. Mike Berry. Remember though, Mike?
If you miss it, you miss out.
Don't miss Mike today on your entertainment news.
Bye-bye.
Ground floor perfumery, stationery and leather goods, wigs and haberdashery, kitchenware and food going up. First floor, telephones, gents, ready-made suits, shirts, socks, ties, hats, underwear and shoes going up.
Mike, lovely to see you, and thanks so much for popping in. Now, of course, to many people, you are Bert Spooner, of course. and
Good old
because
Bert.
everybody loves Are You Being Served? I mean, you know...
I did.
Yeah, but I was playing it to some of the boys earlier this week, and they loved it. And it's one of those shows that hasn't, in a way, aged, because we remember shops. I remember shops like that, don't you, when you were younger?
Yes.
But people say, well, what's that guy? I said, well, he's a floor walker. They don't know what that means.
No,
now.
no.
But when you got that role, I read your version of how you got it and, you know, all that sort of stuff. But what was it like? Because it was so iconic by the time you joined the show, wasn't it?
Well, I used to watch the show before I was ever in it, never dreaming I'd be in it, because I'd done so little acting. And in fact, when I used to watch that, I hadn't even done Wurzel Gummidge, which was the other thing I did. They're the two main things.
Two iconic shows, though.
I know, but they're the two main parts of my acting career. I did plays and stuff like that.
I've seen you in Panto.
There you are. I wouldn't tell too many people about that. But when I got Are You Being Served? Yes, it was terrifying because I was going to be working with all these people that I watched week after week and thought it was great that I enjoyed the show. But when I did it, I just fitted in really easily. And I remember Wendy saying to me, John said, he said, he's got it. So John Inman said to her, he's got it. And so it's whether you can do it or not and fit in.
Yeah.
And so, because you get some actors, I've worked with actors, and I'm not a trained actor, I just got a sort of natural ability for certain parts. And a lot of actors just, they're wooden and they've got no real motor. And I remember the director of Wurzel Gummidge, James Hill, who was a very good director, directed all sorts of good films, Bellstone Fox and so on. And he said to me one day about someone he'd employed on this Wurzel Gummidge, he said, oh, she's got no motor, he said. And I knew exactly what he meant. She said the lines and she walked up, but she had no, you just didn't believe it, basically. So.
It's strange, though, isn't it, Mike? Because when we watched that, when you were in it and I watched it in the a few years ago, did you realise you were part of a cult thing? You know, because you know, like when you ask people afterwards, and you know, it's like when you worked in certain places and they say, did you realise? But you don't, I suppose, at the time.
Well, I didn't realise myself, although I should have done, because having watched it, it was a cult for me to sort of go into. And but I remember David Croft for the first rehearsals I was doing, and he called me out of the window and he said, "Don't talk to the press," and because they want to dish the dirt with everybody, and he said, "Just be careful who you talk to and what you say, because this is like an iconic show."
Was BBC won primetime millions, though? What people would dream about now, isn't it? 16, 17 million people were watching this show.
And yet the funny thing is, it's the one series I think the BBC are a little bit ashamed of. It's that sort of seaside postcard humour, a lot of it, and it's a bit sort of crass, some of it, but it's still fun because of that. And I think that's its strength. It's unabashed silliness.
Well, it reminds me of like, is it Donna McGill postcard? It's, you know, when you see the fat lady on the beach. And
Yeah. Where's my Willie?
When they used to do the Mrs. Slocum jokes, did everybody on set used to try and have to hide the, you know, like not to laugh or?
Well, no, because I think they all got used to them. Well, there was one I remember when she said, "Oh, I've had my pussy banging on my cat flap all night." I can't remember the context. And we all sort of went.
But what did Molly think about that? Because I mean,
she said it with great aplomb. No,
lady.
she didn't bat an eyelid. Just delivered it. That was the good thing. That's good comedy. You deliver it straight. You're not looking for laughs. And you're just delivering it straight, and it's funny just because of the content and the environment it's in and the context it's in.
Now, there's a piece in the paper today that said, Are You Being Served is coming back, and they're going to reboot it with new people in the cast and all that sort of stuff. Now, they recently did that with Dad's Army. I haven't seen the film yet, so I'm a huge fan as well of Dad's Army. I haven't seen the film, so I don't personally know. But I can't see how you could recreate, the cast members of Are You Being Served with today's people.
I don't think, frankly, I think because the trouble is they're instantly compared to the originals. I went to see Dad's Army, the film, and I wasn't disappointed greatly. I didn't go expecting much, but I must say my favourite was Michael Gambon as
Godfrey.
It was Godfrey, that's right, yes.
I loved Godfrey.
And I thought Toby Thingamy did Captain Mannering rather well.
But they're impressions, aren't they?
Well,
rather than acting.
No, actually, they didn't. No, they actually played it their own way. In fact, Bill Nye, I thought, wasn't quite posh enough to do the Le Mesurier part, because John Le Mesurier is old school Etonian, whereas Bill Nye isn't. It's obvious he's a bit sort of East End, putting on the accent. And for me, it didn't quite. He played it nicely, and he's a lovely actor, but it didn't quite work for me. But overall, it could have been a lot worse. It really could. But I think Are You Being Served? They're such big characters, and they're so outrageous. When you think of somebody being Molly or John Inman, I mean, I think it's going to be a struggle. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I wish they'd cast me in some old as young Mr. Grace.
What about? Do you remember the man, Arthur English? It was the cleaner, wasn't he?
Yeah, I could have done that. Could have done the cleaner. Mind you, I'd have had to be demoted, wouldn't I, from the men's floor to.
Yeah, but you would be, wouldn't you, in this day and age?
Possibly,
yeah. If you were still at the job.
I was what they call a ne'er-do-well.
Yeah.
And then always up against it. So I could have become the Arthur English part, but Arthur was good.
For telephones, gents, ready-made suits,